Welcome to BWB, Brunch with Books, where we reignite the joy of reading in those who have lost this amazing habit and inspire you to dive into two books every week. One book is fiction, and the other book is a non-fiction. We uncover life-changing lessons and relatable insights from the most thought-provoking bestseller books of the century. Tune in and let us distill the essence of these treasure deeds into actionable life skills perfect for a busy life like yours. Be part of this enlightening session to gain wisdom which you can apply in your daily life, even if you don't have time to read. Follow us and participate in the month-end Sunday session Brunch with Books quiz, because there you are going to win prizes, exciting prizes. So, I start the session today and it's going to be a very exciting one. Over to Dr. Geeta. What are we learning today?
Hi everyone, welcome to BWB. Can you imagine for a minute an individual driven by relentless ambition, a soul stubborn and not listening to reason, defying near-death experiences, a veteran of dangerous voyages? Obviously, you will think of Robinson Crusoe. And when Robinson Crusoe is starting on a new journey, and the journey is to an extreme isolation, a journey into self, which will define his own existence and throw up countless insight for us at the same time, which will be bringing us lessons on resilience, survival, perseverance, and the indomitable power of the human spirit. So, Robinson has got shipwrecked on an island which is barren, and he has climbed up the tree and he has spent the night there. In the morning, he looks around and he finds that if only they had stayed in the ship, they all would have survived, because the ship is wrecked and it's in the beach in front of him. And now, to get to the ship, he has to pass, he has to cross a creek filled with water and he has to swim across to it. So now he thinks, because he doesn't have any water or anything, food even, he goes to the ship and he looks around. And he finds that all the provisions that was there in the ship is intact. But how to get it to the place he is and how to store it? So then his journey of building a shelter begins. He finds a place up on the hill overlooking a valley, and which is, like in the front of a cave. He builds his tent like a place, and you goes to the ship and he uses the mast. He uses the wooden spars, creates a raft, and brings the stuff like the provisions one at a time. So in a month's time, he has collected everything and he has stored it in the cave like place, behind his tent. And he makes himself very secure. Then one night it rains heavily and the ship is broken into two and it disappears from the view. Now Robinson, he uses his survival skills, and he has got chest of having tools. He's got food stuff, but though it is moldy, and he has got clothing, he has got barley, oat and corn. He's got even you could say that iron implements, and he even has got a dog and two cats which will be companion for him. And he starts to go hunting every day. He shoots wild fowls, a mountain goat and fish, and he starts to live there. And he has got the most priceless possession of all, pens and ink and paper, and he starts to journal his experiences, which will keep him occupied and give him count of the days as it goes by. And it is so amazing how a human being is able to survive by his indomitable spirit of the mind. And do you feel, Sritapa, that this is possible by anyone? What is your reflection on that? Would you like to add to it?
Yeah, there is so much to learn from Robinson Crusoe, and I can easily relate to my life when I was also starting, something like I remember the day I arrived in Mumbai with a suitcase and a heart full of hope. I was in a city where I knew nobody. It was, a land where I had no friends, no family members, and only the towering buildings, unfamiliar faces, those rush of people around, and madness of local trains. It was all so overwhelming. But instead of letting fear take over me, I just decided to take small steps at a time. And for the first week, I stayed in a hotel, so arranged by my company, and it wasn't home. It was a start. I connected with few familiar faces from ILP and found that some girls who would be staying with me uh, in one apartment. And soon we got an apartment, and with some help of my office colleagues, I started exploring, figuring out the bus route, and setting up new home, and even learning to cook simple meals. At first, everything felt unfamiliar, but slowly as days turned into weeks, and I gradually understood that I was no longer feeling as an outsider. The city became familiar, friends blossomed in office, and working friends, and local train friends, and groups started building. Gradually that city was no more a place where I did not know anybody. And when I look back, I realized life didn't change overnight. It was all built up through tiny victories of doing little things, from setting up home to cooking meals to, creating a new connection with someone at office and local train or wherever I met people. And just like Crusoe, I had turned that unfamiliar world into my own. So that is how relatable it was when I started my career in Mumbai. From knowing no one to knowing so many people when I left.
Wow.
So this I can truly relate with Robinson Crusoe.
Wow.
And what do you feel, Siddharth? Is there any your reflection in this kind of a situation?
I reflect this way like a woman who is married and goes into a unknown's house. And then
Mm,
she is a housewife. He doesn't know her, the place she is in, her mother-in-law properly, her father-in-law properly, her husband properly. If it is not love marriage nowadays, it's lots of love marriages, but I'm talking about arranged marriages time. And there is so much to learn for her, and so much to embrace for her, that she has to regularly fight for her requirements, for her existence, I would say, and make sure that everything is uh, in the place, and she is getting love from everybody in the family. If there is an extended family, like I come from a family which was quite a big one. We had like six brothers. My father had six brothers, and it was a large family. And then my mom settling there with them, how to mingle with each and every person, whether it is a family member or even the maids and other people who are part of the family. It was really difficult. But then the only thing which stayed with her was love. And I feel that if you have this resilience of, whatever be it, that, but I will be able to do it. I think that carries with you. And that was maybe one of the reasons she became the favorite um, daughter-in-law of the family. And it was a amazing thing, because she coming from a almost a village, and then staying in a city, befriending everybody, was really a extraordinary thing for to achieve, at least in those years, because there were too many people talking in the back, and you didn't had proper communication medium also. So I feel that was a really amazing feat she had, and then that value ethic has somehow tipped into us. And I feel that when I go to some place, I carry that love with me, so that I can actually, even though they are strangers, I can just talk with some love, and that changes people's thought processes. Maybe they are against me, or they are not liking my opinions, but eventually it happens that they are, you know, uh, aligning to my thoughts or my values at some point of time. So I feel that is a reflection I am sharing today. And this is very personal, but I feel this is exactly how we should look at this lesson from Robinson Crusoe. But we know that there are lessons from the non-fiction book also. So I will give over to Sujata, who will help us give the reflections from the non-fiction book, Tiny Habits. Over to you, Sujata.
Thank you, Siddharth. That was such a relatable incident because I also got married, I think, in those times when things were very different and we had to make a lot of adjustments and we had to start small. Small habits we started and slowly they grew into it and we could adjust. Now, as you said, that this is what he says also. Fogg says that you should focus on small, manageable actions. Like everyone says that you should be hydrated. So, what you can do is please start with 1 glass of water a day. Slowly increase it to 4 or whatever your doctor tells you. And same way, like if you feel you can't write, you're not getting the time to write, you have a very busy schedule, then start writing at least 1 sentence, then 1 paragraph, and that way 2 paragraphs. So you increase gradually. So by making these small changes, they seem so trivial that it seems silly to skip them. What skip them? You can do it. You can snatch time because you need to do it. So these tiny actions, they accumulate and they lead to substantial results. And you see, this is what, Crusoe had done. Every day he would go to the ship, bring small, things from there, provisions, some food or something, and he stocked enough in his cave for him to survive. So it's a very good habit for survival, I would say. Again. Thank you. So now, Jasveer, I would like to ask you if you have anything to add on to this perspective.
Thank you. Thank you, Sujata. Yes, I really believe that small steps lead to great success. For instance, I always wanted to make reading a regular, consistent habit. So it's very easy for us to waste time with the mobile with so much of social media. So I thought, why not make mobile my friend? I started keeping reminders, alarms, so that whenever I know that I have some free time during the day, an alarm will come, read, something which pops up on my screen saying read. And I have one book. I have picked up a book and I have kept it aside on my desk. I pick up, read 2 pages, and so on and so forth. I kept on adding the number of pages, and now it's very easy. I can finish a book in 2 days, which would have otherwise taken me 6 months. Though I love reading, it's just that effort to take that time out to sit and read is what was very important. And it gives me so much of satisfaction and happiness. So I think small steps definitely add value to life. Now I'd like to hand over to Dr. Geeta. Let's see what she has to share about the next scene of Robinson Crusoe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasbir. And that is a wonderful observation because small steps, positive steps, really add to the bigger journey. And that is exactly what that which is not lacking in him is that positivity, that resilience, that instinct for survival. So Robinson Crusoe, he could make use of whatever resources he had. One day, when he had thrown out the mold and he started growing them more and more, and one day he was able to bake bread and he was able to have all the comforts of home. He also learned how to make table and chair. He learned how to make a cupboard and he arranged everything well there. And all the comforts of a home was available. Then he thought, let me be more safer from the predators. And he started to build walls where the approach was only through a ladder where he would climb up and get into that cave kind of a house where nobody will come to know that he is behind that. And when he was busy doing that, he saw that the roof was caving on him. He ran out, he climbed up the ladder and ran to the hut, the place where he had like a kind of a tent where his home was. And he observed that it was earthquake. And the island was shaking so badly that the jutting out part of the island had broken and it had fallen into the ocean, and huge waves splashed. And he felt, that the shock waves might have been felt on the ocean. Now he felt scared for his own safety because his tent was just underneath the overhanging cliff, and he wanted to now. And also he saw that most of the stuff is destroyed. Now he has to begin again. It was 4 years since he had built up all this, and now he has to begin again. He has to shift to another place which is plain, and he has to make himself comfortable again. And this was something, and he sat down and cried because all his 4 years of struggle was for nothing. But then he who took himself in his hand again, because there was nobody to make him motivated. It was he himself. And it is so awesome how remarkably he can take himself in hand. What do you think, Sritapa? Is it possible for human beings to be like, Robinson Crusoe? Is it possible? What is your reflection on that?
Yeah, I think COVID is a best example where many people have, experienced that positivity, how much it keeps us going. Rather than when everything around was so gloomy, many people had so resilience and positive mindset to pass through those days. And one of my incident I remember is, which I will like to share, is during those lockdown, when everything outside felt uncertain, we created a different world inside our home. It was filled with warmth of togetherness and hope that nothing happens to us. And since stepping outside wasn't an option, everything was closed and shut down, we decided to focus on what we could control. Hmm. That was all in our mindset, what we can do. And every morning when we used to wake up with gratitude that none of us have got affected, and thanking God for our safety, and reminding ourselves that that too shall pass. Because 40 cases were there in my same building, and not even the main door has opened for past 6 months. So that was the situation where my dad was a diabetic, and I was thinking that we have to keep everything safe inside, that nothing should impact him. So that was the precaution everyone used to take. And we used to, take precautions like for immunity boosting, my mom used to make kada, and we made sure that we eat healthy food, home cooked meals, and more than that, we ate together. We turned that simple meals of the day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. Those moments were more of connection, laughter, and heartfelt conversations. So, which improved our family bond. And rather than dwelling like on negatives, that if something happens to us or if something happens to someone else close to us, what will happen? Rather than thinking all negatives, we used to call our relatives. We used to keep in touch with everyone and ensure everyone is feeling connected and happy. As a family, we used to talk more across both my mom's side and my dad's side, so that we all feel bonded and together, and none of them is felt left out because everyone is stuck at home. And luckily, some of their relatives were in Jamshedpur. They could go to the village where they can roam around freely because nobody was impacted in the village. But people who were stuck in cities can't go to village because transports were all closed. So that's what we did, is each one of us picked up some hobby to keep us motivated. My dad did gardening, mom was reading. Something brought us some joy. We were all into some hobbies, and we used to talk about life hacks, shared saving tips. My dad used to teach his saving mechanisms, how he could manage his expenses, and we were talking all those things and learning a lot from each other, and that kept us motivated. And bringing every time we were watching movies together in the night was so special. We were listening to musics, and these were like everyone is sitting in the sofa and enjoying. Everyone knows that that is nothing else to do than bonding and enjoying those memories. So slowly, these small habits built resilience in all of us, and we grew healthier, stronger, and closer as a family. Everyone was fit that time. Everyone was back in shape. And although it was all that we realized that something, tough time is going through, a positive mindset kept us going, and it can be transformed to anything positive if that environment is there in and around you and within you. So that I could relate with this situation. Sujata, do you have any reflection on these kind of situation in your life or from the nonfiction book? Do please do share.
So just what you've just told me, Sritapa, it's just exactly what Fogg says in his book. He introduces the Maui habit. Maui is a word from the Hawaiian language, and it's a practice of saying today is going to be a great day. Whatsoever, however bad the day is might have been, however bad the night might have been, just say that it's going to be a great day. Positive affirmations. So immediately when you wake up, he says the moment you put your feet on the ground, on the floor, you should just say that, yes, it will be great. And then, I was listening to one of his TED Talks. So in that, he says, he recites an incident that his neighbor was from Hawaii. So once he was sitting outside and she comes to him and she wishes him happy birthday. He's amazed. He said, it's like it's not his birthday. Then why is she wishing him? But then he asks, "Why have you wished me today? It's not my birthday." Then she says that, you see, every day is a gift from God. So we have to appreciate each and every day. So every day when you get up, start with optimism and a positive affirmation. As you've just said, Sritapa, what your family practiced during the COVID days. So now, Jasveer, would you like to add on something to it?
Yes, Sujata, I agree. Optimism and positivity can really change your mindset and the way you lead life. A very big example from my own life is when I was studying for my CA final exams. I was a topper in the foundation exam. I came 41st All India. So I was very confident that final exam should not be a great deal, you know. But like life has to teach you a lesson. I learned my lesson when the first time I attempted my final CA, I lost, clearing the exam by a couple of marks, and it was pretty demoralizing, and I was very demotivated. But then I realized that I don't have a choice because I was very clear that CA and that's it. You know that's what I want in my life. I want to be a chartered accountant, and I was like very determined. The day I become a chartered accountant, the next day if I die, it's okay, but I have to become a chartered accountant. So every day was like I had to push myself, be positive, because 14 hours of study, the same syllabus, and then finally I cleared it in my third attempt, and I had decided that this is it. I have to do it, and every day I had to tell myself, like you said, Fogg says that get up with a positive thought, and I had to tell myself, yes, today I'm going to do it, and I know I can, and that's exactly it helped me. So definitely positive mindset and attitude makes a lot of difference. So I'd like to hand over to Siddharth. Let's see what he has to say. Thank you.
That is great, Jasveer. In knowing this, uh, I think I completely agree to the fact that positive affirmations help. But like Dr. Gita was talking about this story where Robinson Crusoe has to rebuild his whole house and everything from scratch, and we are aligning here with Fogg's tiny habit that small habits actually help us. I feel that when I looking at my journey in this, I feel when I was in this generation where actually I was actually a consultant, and after that I had to become a senior consultant. But then my promotion was not happening, and it was like 3 years I was waiting for it, and my promotion was not happening. So I was like very frustrated, like what is going wrong? And every time I used to ask my manager, he used to tell that you are missing this, you are missing that, something. He used to give me like some reason, and I used to think that okay, do I have to redo everything I have done, and then I will get the promotion? So he said that no, actually, what is going wrong here is that you are doing things as a consultant still, and you need to do something as a senior person. So that opened my mind. So that then I understood, okay, so because I am thinking like a consultant, I will not get a promotion. Then that completely shifted my perspective of how to get a promotion. And that helped me also to prepare for the higher role, to work on how I need to bring in leadership qualities in myself. And that also I was using some of my past experiences and talking to senior people, how they handle that. And slowly I started bringing in some leadership qualities in me. And that helped me that year when I did all this. It was already visible to my manager, and they didn't have to, I didn't have to ask them again. It automatically happened that I became a senior consultant. So I feel that I am just taking a very different example here. But then the idea here is that, when we understand that why we are failing, I think then we prepare for it, we plan it better, and then we can move to the next step. That is how life helps us learn from it through life skills. So I feel that was an amazing discussion we had today, Dr. Geeta, Chitapa, Sujata, author Jasveer, sharing so many things today, and we learning from each and every invaluable insight. I am thrilled to say that this was an amazing session. I learned a lot myself, being the quiet guy today. But it was fun and very inspiring. Learned a lot today. And the first thing which we learned was that taking small steps helps really well, because that helps us in bringing us that courage to do the next bigger and achieve our bigger goals. And that is how Robinson Crusoe was able to build his farm and his cave and everything. And even uh, in Tiny Habits, Fox talks about that, taking tiny steps. In the second scenario, which was the talk, we talked about that how motivation helps every day. That if we have a small positive affirmation for ourselves, how that can help us. That was amazing insight as well. Because if Jasbir can become a CA even after not clearing for the first time, then anything can happen in everybody's life. So I think that was an inspiring lesson Jasbir was sharing. Even Shritapa's lesson was very inspiring. Robinson Crusoe not getting deterred by the earthquake, and he could actually rebuild his whole house and his farm and everything after the destruction was amazing. And with that, I think I am closing the session today, and we are going to have a interesting discussion next week as well. With that, thank you so much, everybody who heard us. Follow us on our channel and our Instagram handle. Don't miss on the sessions we had till now, and be ready for the Sunday quiz we are going to have at the end of the month, where we will be giving exciting prizes to the winners. Till then, stay tuned. Meet you next week at the same time, same day, and tata, bye bye.
The whole wheat and corn and the grains. And when the rains came, it sprouted, and he was so happy because he had the grains now to grow